The Olympics are a time when every country forgets problems and conflicts and comes together to compete with their best athletes in all different sports.
Every 2 years, there's either Winter or Summer Olympics. They are held in a different country each time, and people from around the world watch to support their home country.
The Olympics have been held for thousands of years. The first Olympic Games were in 776 BC in an area of land called Olympia that was dedicated to Zeus.
Millions of people have competed in the Olympic Games, but some really stood out.
Wilma Rudolph and Jesse Owens are among some of the most famous athletes.
Wilma Rudolph was an African-American runner.
She competed in the 1960 Games in Rome. This was during the Civil Rights Movement in America, so her 3 gold medals were a big step towards the end of segregation.
Known as the Civil Rights Movement, this series of events started out as individual acts of courage
This is the game of basketball.
Basketball was founded by Dr. James Naismith.
It originated from a childhood game used to play where the object was to knock a duck off the top of a large rock by throwing another rock at it.
The first basketball game was played December 21st, 1891.
2 of the best basketball players are Celtics Larry Bird and Lakers Irvin Magic Johnson.
Larry Bird played as a forward for Indiana State University. In 1979, he was College Player of the Year and joined the Boston Celtics. He was Rookie of the Year in 1980. He won the championships in 1981, 1984, and 1986. He was NBA.
On October 22nd, 1962, President John F. Kennedy broadcast a special message to the nation from his office in the White House.
Last week, unmistakable evidence has established the fact that a series of offensive missile sites is now in preparation on that imprisoned island. The purpose of these bases can be none other than to provide a nuclear strike capability against the Western Hemisphere. Our goal is not the victory of might, but the vindication of right. Not peace at the expense of freedom, but both peace and freedom.
Profit can be earned, while at the same time protection can be assured to guarantee to labor adequate pay and proper conditions of work. Child labor is abolished.
Having built his entire system of alliances upon a worldwide anti-communist crusade, Hitler sent his foreign minister von Ribbentrop to Moscow. Maxim Litvinov's policy of collective security had been scrapped at Munich. Now Russia and Germany signed a treaty of friendship.
You may have heard of Adolf Hitler, but do you really know what he was like and exactly what he did? Here are a few facts about Hitler that makes you happy you weren't there at the time. Hitler was one of the main causes of World War II. His mother died when he was young in 1908, and after that he was very hostile towards his strict authoritarian father. At first, he wanted war because he wanted
what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
To many people, this speech is both memorable and inspirational. The Kennedy inauguration marked the beginning of major changes in America. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was one of the most influential presidents in the United States history. Throughout his presidency, Kennedy tackled many issues that the U.S. was facing at the time. Civil rights was one of these problems. When the governor of Alabama would not let 2 students attend the state university, Kennedy took action. He used a group of U.S. Army soldiers to enforce a court order, allowing the 2 students to attend classes. The Cuban Missile Crisis was also a pivotal point in Kennedy's presidency. Kennedy successfully negotiated for all Soviet missiles to be removed from Cuba, avoiding a major problem for the U.S. These were only a few of the great advances made by John F. Kennedy. Others included the space program and the moon landings, as well as assistance in taking down the Berlin Wall, although the U.S. has encountered many problems during
Okay, my name is Betty Ong. I'm number 3 on flight 11.
Okay.
And the cockpit is not answering their phone. And there's somebody staffed in business class, and we can't breathe in business class. Somebody's got mace or something. We can't breathe. I don't know. I think we're getting hijacked.
This was the first notification about the hijacking at 8:19 a.m. sent by Betty Young, who was on Flight 11. She forwarded the news to American Airlines. This is the first half of her phone call. In the later half of the call, she was in a 3-way conversation.
President Hoover said that America was further away from poverty than ever before. He said everything was going great, but that is when, in 1929, the stock market had crashed.
The Great Depression was a terrible time in America for many people. President Hoover was president at the time the stock market crashed. Many banks failed, factories shut down, and millions lost their jobs soon after the Wall Street crash of October 1929.
People were careless about the economy and thought everything was going great. They took too many chances, but they thought nothing of it.
Many people became very poor. Jobs were needed, people were hungry, people needed shelter and protection.
Okay, so down here, as you see this coyote leaping, here's his hind legs outstretched as he jumps from the ground with his forearms tucked in around in this area. His forearms are tucked in, and as he leaps on the mole that should be somewhere around over here in the grass.
The understory is dark as it doesn't get much light. Birds, butterflies, frogs, and snakes live here.
More snakes. Awesome.
The fourth floor is the last layer. It receives less than 2% of the sunlight, and only plants that do not need much sunlight live there.
Hello, me llamo es Nicaragan.
Me llamo Café. Me llamo Steve Del Greco, and we're doing a report on jaguars. The common name is the jaguar. The scientific name is the Panthera onca. Breeding. The jaguars stay together for a few weeks. Gestation takes 93 to 105 days. Jaguars have 1 to 4 cubs. Cubs weigh only 25 to 32 ounces at birth. The related species are cheetah and leopard.
The jaguar's size is 44 to 73 inches. The tail is about 18 to 30 inches. Males weigh more. So males weigh 125 pounds to 250 pounds. Females only weigh 100 to 200 pounds. You can tell a jaguar from a leopard by the jaguar's jaw is more.
Hey, this is Hanson Kama, and I'm walking alone today. I have been learning about snakes since my foreign country. My foreign country is Uganda. I have been learning about snakes, and snakes have different species.
Mali is located in Western Africa, southwest of Algeria and east of Senegal. It is about 475,000 square miles, about twice the size of Texas.
Mali is also one of the poorest countries in the world. 65% of Mali's land is...
Times became hard because Hitler became more powerful, and it disturbed our beautiful life. We didn't know from one day to the other what's going to happen. The family was very strong. And it was just unthinkable, absolutely unthinkable, that somebody or some power would be able to unroot us.
Dr. Russ Davis, professor of oceanography at Scripps Institution of Oceanography, explains what ocean currents are.
I think currents should be called the winds of the ocean. It's the way that water moves across the ocean, or in other times in small patterns that may themselves vary with time.
That's fact. We have a quick pizza society now, a drive-through, hamburger society.
And wind energy all across America and along the Cape. We were lucky enough to talk to a man who worked for this company, Greg O'Brien.
Generation wind turbine project in Bourne is 7 100-meter wind turbines.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We had it in our flight plan that we'd take the first 10, 15 seconds and down at the bottom of the ladder sort of hold on to the edge of the landing gear and just sort of check our stability and so forth. So we got the flag out and put it in the ground, and we never really practiced that one before.